like to remember people.
Hello, and welcome to Inspire Synergy. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I would like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. They are one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. President Sean Rabinowitz, proud supporter of Husky Talk. They specialize in wealth management, retirement planning, and employee benefits. And he's going to have a Tesla in my driveway any second now. We also have Pete Finch in the Finch Law Firm. If you've suffered any type of personal injury, if you've been hit with a construction beam at a site, if your mother-in-law tried to run you over with a car, Pete Finch and the Finch Firm is for you. For the last 8 years, he has fought wars all over the state of Connecticut, and he will do the same for you to make sure you get every dollar in compensation. All you have to do is go to thefinchfirm.com, and he will be there to have a free consultation with you. Dynamic Human Performance is owned and operated by Andre Dixon. He trains boys and girls of all ages, whatever sport they play. And he just started a new athletic development program, which will work with you, whatever your sport is, from the ground up and train you to be your best so you can reach your potential and have a chance to get a college scholarship. He has sent many boys and girls of all ages to college on all sports on scholarship. He's the best of the best. You just go to dynamichumanperformance.com, sign up, and join him now. And we are here for Razul Wallace. Welcome from the House of Changes, Razul.
How you guys doing? I'm Razul Wallace. I'm the executive director of House of Changes.
And you're the executive director. We have to throw that in there. We got to be executive.
And founder, yes.
Yes.
And, we are having a fundraiser April 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Swift Factory.
Yes, April 19th, 2025 at the Swift Factory, 6 p.m. It's for the House of Changes. It's going to be a fabulous event. We are going to have a lot of people there, some that I have just mentioned. I will absolutely reach out to Pete Finch. He had mentioned having interest in going as well. We have Sean Rabinowitz, my other sponsor. He is going to attend. I'll reach out to Andre Dixon. And we also have a number of other people, big time, who will be there as well. And we also have Jah, my man, is on the bottom. And Jah is in happy. And Abba is fathering for good. And I said it properly.
It's better though. He's gotten a lot better.
He's getting there.
Yeah, it only took a month. And then we have the legendary Chef Cisco joining us. It's a pleasure to have you, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here. I don't know about the legendary part, but
you're legendary in Connecticut. I mean, you can't say Chef Cisco and boy, heads turn. I mean, you got quite the reputation. So the event is picking up. The event is getting closer and closer, and it's really becoming exciting. Just what have you guys Razul? What have you been dealing with in the last week or so? Because I know you said there's not enough hours in a day. You don't have a personal assistant other than this AI personal assistant. And you struggle a little bit with organization because there's so much that has to get done and you can't get it done all at once. How have you managed to maintain some semblance of organization and regulation to make sure that you stay on task and get done what needs to get done?
I think the biggest thing for me lately has been very consciously thinking about delegation. And not figuring and shifting my mindset from not how to do this, but who can do this.
Right.
So we're kind of intentional about that with everything. And then every time we every time we work with someone, or they're contributing to the bigger overall mission or vision, there's always the consideration for, all right, well, what is expected from me? What is expected from them? What is their benefit? What is their contribution? That's essentially what it all boils down to. So I think the biggest thing that I'm working on is, well, let me back up and say, the other thing is that if I try working on being very intentional about carving out time for the family first, and then scheduling everything else around that.
Yes, because you have quite the large family, and you can't just ignore them, right? You can't just leave them.
You can't ignore them.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that happens is it's easier to put them like kind of second, and like have them get the leftovers of whatever energy you have left at the end of the day. So, and Jah's helping to keep me accountable and reminding me of that. So being intentional about scheduling that time first, and then scheduling everything else around that. And it seems to be working decently so far. I have a partner who's very understanding of my drive and how much I guess like to work, and,
Right.
and being conscious of the time that I need to set aside for the kids. But I think with me giving her the family that best time, or the time that where I still have good energy or value in me to give, then she feels better about, if I want to stay up until like all night working, or get up early and leave to work. So it's a lot going on, but I feel very blessed and like rich.
Yes. Yes. And you are blessed, and you are rich in more ways than one. And the good thing, I had Bill, he took a couple of my videos, and he's going to cut it up a little bit, so they're a little shorter, and he thinks that'll help. And then if I gotta get you guys to do another video, and we'll put that up as well. But we'll try to get some form of content up every day. Joe D'Ambrosia has been doing live reads on his show every day. They've been doing it. Also, the disc jockeys have been doing it during the day. So you've been getting good coverage from them. And hopefully Fox 61 comes through. If they don't, then we'll get Kevin Nathan. And then Kevin Freeman is going to do something, either putting it on the UConn website or the social media to promote the event. So we're doing as much as we can. And then I reached out to the Hartford Courant to try to get a story done about it, which I think they're going to do. It'll just be probably next week sometime. So we're covering all our bases, between social media, between digital marketing, between traditional media. We're doing all that we can. And we think that this is going to be an incredible experience. And it's for just a special cause for people who are going to benefit tremendously from it. Chef Cisco,
Yes, sir.
tell me a little bit about your background. When did you become a chef? Did you go to like the CIA or anything? How did that happen?
No. So, cooking has been sort of like a family tradition.
Ah,
Yeah. And, but for me, cooking was, you grow up with it, you do it, it's, part of life. But, I ended up actually in corporate America. I was a data scientist.
wow.
So I was a molecular biologist first, and then I switched to be a data scientist for over 10 years. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry up until last summer. I decided to switch careers again and follow my passion and become a chef. So, but I knew I was going to do that way before that. So I planned it out, so I can give myself some room to go to culinary school, sharpen up my skills, learn the business, and take it on the way I want to take it on, because I didn't want to go into the entire industry, with blind.
Yeah,
so
blind. Right. So being an official chef is somewhat new to you, correct?
Yeah. So before before
What?
this, I still dabbled in doing private events, private
Yes.
parties, tastings, so on and so forth, but never like catering like a big event or working in a restaurant or running a restaurant. So now it's a different mode. It's a different mode of operation than it is, to be a data scientist. But the same skills apply. Some of the same skills apply, and actually proving to be very beneficial in what I'm doing right now. So it's an accumulation of knowledge that rolls up into my passion right now. That's driving, forward. So if you see me act a certain way or do certain things that might be a little quirky as a chef that most chefs are not doing, that's just because I have.
Well, I'm quirky all the time, so it won't bother me. So molecular biology into being a chef.
Yeah.
So was molecular biology quite boring for you?
No, I actually loved it.
Did love it?
I was a bench. So molecular biology was basically what I got my degree in, and I ended up being a bench scientist. I worked on projects that were sponsored by NASA. I worked at the Icahn School of Medicine in New York. I had my own lab there, and from there I moved back up to Connecticut. I worked at the Smilo Cancer Center at Yale as a oncology coordinator for clinical trials, and then from there on, I went into the pharmaceutical industry as a data scientist, working strictly in oncology trials, like global oncology trials.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah, but
Wow.
throughout this whole thing, because what I was doing was very intensive and it was very draining. So
Yeah.
every day I'd come home from work. First thing I would do is just take my clothes off, wash my hands, go in the kitchen, and relax.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, you're
that was
burning the candle at both ends.
exactly. So the kitchen was my safe space, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's where I did my best form of therapy. So yeah, I decided to just take it and run with it, and so far it's been very good to me.
Where did you go to culinary school?
Right, I'm in culinary school right now. Manchester. Yeah,
Oh,
Manchester.
beautiful.
Yeah, so CT State, all the community college around the state have I guess they're like one now, and they have a culinary program, and they have classes on different campuses. So some days I'm in Manchester, some days I'm at Gateway in New Haven, some days I'm down at Naugatuck and Waterbury. So it's all over the place. But right now, just wanted to go. I mean, was it necessary for me to go to culinary school? Probably not. With everything I've learned from cooking and from my own experience, but I wanted to just get a deeper understanding of
Yeah.
the industry and of course what I was doing, and of course I want to be as safe as possible. I want to learn from the best people I can learn from that are readily available to me. So that's what drove that decision. Yeah.
And what would you say you specialize in as far as culinary? What do you like to cook, or what are you best at?
I like Caribbean food. I'm Caribbean. I'm Latin Caribbean. So
Where's your family from exactly?
my family. So my mom's side of the family is from Haiti, and my dad's side family is from Cuba. So flavor is in my DNA. So having said that, I like to experiment with different types of cuisine as well, like French cuisine and Italian cuisine specifically. So I've, for the past 2 or 3 years, I've taught myself how to make fresh pasta. So that's become an obsession, positive obsession. So that's one of those things I say probably in like maybe 2 or 3 years, I'll get my official certified pasta maker certification and make it an official thing. But for right now, it would be pasta. Yeah.
Ja, what about you? I mean, the past couple weeks have been hectic putting this thing together. What would you say have been some of the challenges, and what would you say have been some of the things that have gone well, and things that have gone well that have even surprised you that they've gone well?
So it's time management and staying. The word we like to use is precision. So really focusing on that. So this is Chef Cisco's brainchild. So I do want him to kind of talk about that, and then also talk about Zilla's engagement with House of Changes, and then the reason why we moved the date and the
he will. I knew you had to leave, so that's why I was giving you your moment to shine. I wanted to let you talk for a second.
Those were the biggest gifts and wins.
Yeah.
Been like Chef Cisco leading the way with the idea, the implementation of Zilla and what she has brought to the table, especially with our mindset and having a game plan.
Yeah.
And then our experience on Saturday would be nice to share with the audience. Our experience on Saturday, both with Zilla and Brendan McGee.
Oh yeah.
And the only reason we had Brendan McGee is because of Chef Cisco.
Yes, you mentioned.
And then the biggest blessing too is Brendan McGee for our November fundraiser, which is going to be our next one.
Correct.
McGee already agreed to be the keynote speaker.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he comes with a lot of power, a lot of energy, big crowd. So, we may need a bigger venue than the Swift Factory. Maybe.
We may.
Yeah.
We may.
So if you can kind of talk towards those three things.
Yeah. As far as the fundraiser, so when I was in New York working as a bench scientist, I decided I wanted to get involved into doing charitable work. And one of the first things I did was I reached out to a nonprofit organization, which I knew the director of the particular nonprofit. I'm not going to say the name right now, just, So I reached out to him. I said, hey, I want to help out. And it just so happened that he was planning a fundraiser. So he basically gave me a crash course on nonprofit fundraising and
How to do it
myself and how to do it and all that. So, fast forward with Razul and I, we have a military history together. And so, I'm not afraid to say this. I love this man like a brother, like real talk. I love him like a brother. So when he came to me and he said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to be part of it? I said, yeah, hell yeah. I want to.
Absolutely.
You don't have, and at first I didn't know in what capacity I could help. But, as we talked and I went to the meetings and I figured out, oh crap, like we're going to need, we all figured out like we're going to need some money and we're going to need to figure out how to make this money happen. So first thing that came to mind, and the individual I talk about who was the director of that nonprofit, he was a really, really good dear friend of mine and a mentor who actually ended up passing away due to suicide. So, when when Razul came to me to that and automatically brought back all these like emotions and feelings. And I'm like, you know what? He taught me for a reason. He taught me these things for a reason. And I felt like it was my duty to keep his memory alive, to just throw myself into this. And
legend or legacy?
I don't
know.
That's
your calling, man. That's your calling.
Yeah. So when Razul came and asked, I said, fuck yeah, I'm going to do it. And when he asked about, the food, I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. So, not even having had any catering experience for big crowds like that, but it was a challenge. It was a challenge I was waiting for, honestly. And, as we talk some more, he's putting the team together to run this thing. And I say, you know what? I know someone who, and this is a really close friend to my family. My wife and I, like, we're very close with her and her family and her kids, her husband. We're very tight. And I know what kind of work she did, Zilla. I know what kind of work she did and her capacity and her influence in the community. And I said, you know what? Let me just talk to Razul about inviting this person into our circle because I know the kind of value they can bring. So hence Zilla. And Zilla is a juggernaut. She is a powerhouse. She is short. I mean, amazing is not even enough. So And I hold her in very high regards. So before I invited her, I told her, I was like, you know what, man, we need to have our ducks in a row before we can even. We need to have at least a concept of what we want to do before we bring her into this, because I know this
Exactly.
she moves people, she moves crowds, she moves just circles. So there is probably very little places you can go in this area and you talk about her, and for people to not know who she is. And
Right.
my relationship with Brendan, so Brendan, I knew Brendan before I actually became cool with Zilla, but we knew each other in passing. And turns out Zilla and Brendan went to school together at Alabama State. So they're good friends too.
Yeah.
So it just turned out to be a very cohesive thing.
What a small world.
Very
Yeah.
small
A little
world.
bit about the yard goats.
Yeah. So after I brought Zilla on, and she's basically took her level of responsibility into guiding us into basically how to conduct ourselves with an event like this, and how the process goes. And part of it was her putting us out there to advertise and make more connections in the community. So last weekend there was a HBCU baseball team that came up to the Yard Goats.
Oh, they threw the first pitch, right?
Yep. So she was working with the director of the Yard Goats to organize this entire event.
Aisha, who's amazing.
Aisha's incredible.
Another amazing, powerful
Incredible.
Black woman.
Yeah,
We're surrounded by powerful Black women.
exactly. And so that went very well because we had so many. The crowd was so very different. We had everyone from like judges to chefs to nonprofit execs to financiers to folks in the education and entertainment industry. So it was just even my old athletic director from Central Connecticut State was there. So it was just a very wide, diverse group of people. Winners, yeah, movers and shakers.
Perfect storm.
Perfect storm. But that perfect storm came with every good decision that we've made so far in this process. So I don't know.
What are you looking forward to?
For the event? I'm looking for a really good turnout. I'm looking for people to understand exactly what we're doing here and why it matters, and how it's going to benefit society as a whole. Because we're not doing anything here that we're just doing for fun. Yes, it is fun for us, but at the same time, it has a purpose. So we want, and for me personally, I want people to realize like, okay, there is a purpose behind this. Like this is a venture that they can get behind and, feel good about it.
And we're not going to waste any penny.
Yeah.
We like to use the language people over profits. And to be able to reach people like Steve Cully and how he was able to recover fully. And now he's the best podcaster in the universe. I'm looking forward to seeing him as the keynote speaker for the event. And I'm very proud. And don't let the camera deceive you. Cully's a big boy.
I mean,
and we're all big, but he makes us feel small. So I would love to have him as my left tackle.
Yeah.
If he's my left tackle, I don't got to look on that side, one side. But, the support we've got, the talent in the room, to be able to take a forgotten, person, adult, and be able to put them in a transitional period where they made the decision to say, I wanna have a life and not give up and not quit. And we are able to build that with that first house. So the first house is really designed as a transitional home, and I consider more than a transitional home. It's more like a boarding home, and the actual house manager's on site, which is a big deal. And to make sure we give them everything, we actually have the actual mental health professionals coming in.
Yeah.
Razul and I were on the phone with Catholic Charities today, and we're bringing
they're great
mindset workshop on site that Razul and I are excited to be part of. And this woman was powerful. Like, I was like, preach, like, because it's all mindset first. Because that series is really designed for wealth management, how to manage your money. But you giving someone a car with no driver's license is a catastrophe.
Yeah.
So she makes sure she gives you all the mindset, the responsibility, that aspect before you start getting the resources, so you understand, where we're going. And the second home, we're imagining that being more like a college dorm. So you have your RA check in with every 2 weeks.
Oh, that's perfect.
A lot of freedom. You have your own room versus a bunk bed with a roommate. So you're easing your way into that adulthood. And the last phase, we're praying that we can do a rent to own option. So from the time you first meet us with that first application, to be able to give that freedom, and at the end and build it, actually be able to build wealth.
Yeah, you got a whole program.
Just sort of my ex. I couldn't
I remember. Yeah. So it's huge. It's huge to be able to go from the beginning until the end. And with the grace of God, I feel like the Holy Spirit's been way ahead of us this whole time. Somehow we're the subject matter experts on a project, and we're supposedly cutting edge.
Just doing what makes sense. We're just doing what makes sense. One thing I'll say is when Razul talked to me about House of Changes, and he talked to me what it was about, first thing that came to mind, I was like, all right, we're gonna give people their dignity back. Because it's like Jah says, as a society, we have a tendency to like treat people like numbers.
So I gotta go pick up my daughter so I don't get yelled at from their mother. So sorry guys, I have to take off.
No, I know. I'm glad. I just wanted to give you a chance to talk.
Thank you, Cully. We love you.
Great seeing you, man.
Yes, love you too, bro.
But yeah, as I was saying, it just gave me that idea. It's just like, we sometimes we tend to treat folks, who, they went through some things in life. We tend to treat them as just another number, or we tend to evaluate them by what they can give us, or just strip away their dignity just because it doesn't serve our purpose. But when Razul came to me with this project, I was just like, all right, well, I personally, I'm a humanitarian at heart. So to be able to help someone, whatever little part I could do, because at first I told him, I was like, okay, I could put on some cooking classes, some life skill cooking classes, and teach, the residents on, how to cook. And then at the end of it, they'll get like a little certificate, and, maybe they can get a job in the restaurant industry if they're interested in doing something like that. But, it's just one of those things. It's like, it's a bit personal for me too. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. It's like,
yeah,
I gotta do this because I believe in humanity. I believe in people. I believe in society. I believe in communion, basically. I believe in a community-based type of living, and to be able to give someone the tools and the skills and their dignity to go back out there, and to give them the confidence they need to go back out there and live every day and fight every day for themselves. It's huge. To me, that's payment.
And we've all been affected by that. And there's so many people that get overlooked. There's so many people that people look through. There's so many people that are invisible to others. There's so many people that fall through the cracks. There's so many people that have problems and situations and issues that they can't overcome on their own, and they don't get the help they need to get past it. And they just end up falling further and further down into the hole. And the reason that the House of Changes is something special is because you're reaching a hand and you're pulling them out, and you're starting to navigate their life back to where it should be, to where it was going. And you're helping to rebuild it, and you're helping to give them a new start. and not a lot of people get that opportunity. And that's what makes it so different is, we're not looking past you. You are a person. You
Right.
do matter. And we're going to do everything we can to support you, from the case management to having social workers to having mental health experts. These people are going to be able to get jobs, and they're going to be able to get their lives back, and they're going to be able to function independently, and they're going to have a chance to live basically the life that they were supposed to live before it got derailed.
Correct.
So to have that opportunity to go back and fix the problems that they weren't able to before, that's what makes it truly special. And now that you're possibly adding another house to it, you're adding houses possibly to rent, to own. Those are things that certain people never would have had a chance to achieve. And that is something that speaks volumes. It really speaks volumes to the care, concern, and generosity that you have in doing that, because not a lot of people do. I mean, I always say this: a lot of people talk, not many listen. So you're listening and you're doing what's right, and you're doing everything you can to help these people. And it seems small. I mean, 8 people helping 8 people is tremendous. It's absolutely tremendous. And, just keep thinking as this builds a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road. Think about the number of people that you're going to be able to help. Think about the number of people that you're going to make a difference in their lives. Think about the number of people you're going to give their lives back to them, because you get to a point where, and it's very hard, you just lose hope. You just don't think that it's possible to get out of the situation that you're in, and you lose hope and you give up.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to come back from that. And the way that you come back from it is with people like Razul, yourself, and Jah, who provide that kind of support and leadership and say, you know what, you're struggling. I got you. I got this. I'm going to help you. And by doing that, that glimmer of hope is all it takes to get them to believe again.
Yes.
It's believing it. It's about believing in society. It's about believing in yourself. And they're starting to believe in themselves, and they're starting to believe that anything is possible.
Yeah. Not to take it back to the scientific stuff, right? But as you're saying, help them to believe in themselves, believe. So there's actually studies that have been done, right? And for example, crass example, there was two groups of people for over a period of 5 weeks. One group went to the gym and worked out, and they grew muscles, about 10 to 20% muscle. The other group just thought about going to the gym and working out, and they still grew not as much as 10, 20%, but they grew like 5 to 7% muscle. So it's just the fact that they believe.
The placebo effect. Yep.
There was a catalyst that changed how they thought about themselves, and what they, their imagination was sparked, and it changed them physically. So that is scientifically proven. So, it's not just like giving them the skills. It's like you said, you have to get them to a certain point where they believe in themselves and they believe that change is possible. And that's what's going to change the physiology and the psychology of a person.
Absolutely. And doing an event like this, it really shows these people that they matter. They're just like anyone else.
Yeah.
They matter. We're doing this for you. We're doing this because we're going to show that we believe in you. We're going to show that we believe that you're going to be successful. We're going to do this because we're going to show that you can rebuild your life. You can go on and do anything that you want. This was a blip in the radar. And a lot of people think, you have a bad year, you have a bad couple years, you can't come back from it. You can come back from anything as long as you're willing to commit to it, as long as you're willing to put in the effort, the dedication, the motivation, and you're never going to give up on something. You can come back from anything.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about the people like your group that are doing that it's making such a tremendous difference. And I think an event like this is going to show everyone in that house, people love them, people care about them, and people want to see them succeed. And when they see that people want to see them succeed, that's going to make them even more ambitious.
Yeah.
That's going to make them work that much harder because they don't want to disappoint anyone anymore. Right. I mean, I've been there, man. You burn every bridge you've had. You've disappointed everyone in your life. Yeah. And it's time to go the other direction.
Yeah.
And I've always been told, you think that you've hit rock bottom, you can always get a shovel and dig a little bit deeper. And now it's time that a ladder's been thrown in and these guys are climbing out of it. Yeah. So it's so great to see. It's so great to see. And I think this event is just the start. It's the beginning of something really special, because even with, the real estate, everything is being done to help the community. The community comes first. It's not all about putting money in people's pockets. It's about doing what's best for the community and doing what's best for the people. And that's why I was so excited to get involved with this. And that's why I think that this is going to be a huge success. And it's going to be the start of something really, really special. So Razul, what do you think going forward? We got a couple weeks and this thing is going to be happening. And you have someone who loves you very much. Olatama, they love you very much. Mm-hmm. So going forward, what are you looking for to try to get done before the 19th? What's keeping you up at night that somewhat worries you? And when do you think you'll sleep soundly?
I think the biggest drive that we have right now is sponsorships and donations, which you've been extremely helpful in assisting us with and marketing for us, Steve. So I really appreciate you. But sponsorships and donations are the biggest things that we're looking for.
Keep getting those, yep.
And to be frank, we've gotten a lot of support and commitment. I think we're just ready to start seeing the actualization of it.
Yes, the purchasing of the tickets. That's the biggest thing.
Purchasing of the tickets. That will also help us to really plan and properly accommodate the amount of people. Because I know with this type of thing, people tend to do everything last minute. I think right. Already. So the sooner, if you're thinking about coming or want to come, please start purchasing your tickets sooner rather than later. It does help us to plan a lot more. Donations for I think you said auctions.
Yeah, there's going to be an auction. There's going to be a DJ. Yeah, we're going to have
there'll be
plenty of things to donate that are going to be auctioned off. It's going to be just a wonderful experience with a great group of people. So that's where I think it's going to be very successful. And we have several videos that are on social media. We'll continue to put them up there. And in the social media video, there's a link to the Eventbrite website where you can purchase the tickets. And, we're going to put that link up every day so people know that's where you can go to purchase your ticket. Get it done now, because it'll help them plan and talk is talk. Put it into action. If you're going to go, get the ticket. You got a couple weeks, get it done. And that it's going to make all the difference in the world. And then Razul can get some sleep, so he won't have to be worried about it. That's what I would say. But I mean, we're going to do as much as we can. I mean, we got UConn involved. We got the radio involved. We're going to try to get TV. We're going to try to get the regular newspaper to write a story about it. And I think once everything gets into play, especially with the social media and the digital aspect of it, it's all going to come together, and you're going to see it explode. I really believe that. And I think the guys are going to be thrilled to see all the people that are going to come out to support them. I think that's going to make a huge difference. So Chef Cisco, I will give you, since you're the honorary legend, the one of the last words. What would you like to say about the event, and to remind people anything they need to know before we sign off?
It's like Razul mentioned, we would love your support in advance. We know that, it is, sort of a last minute thing that people tend to do to buy the tickets. But, the other thing
we'll get it done sooner. Yeah.
Yeah. The only point I want to convey as well is, we're in an era where, any of these residents could have been us. So if you ever for a split second would entertain the thought of putting yourself in somebody else's shoes,
and I guarantee it's affected any one of our lives. It has.
Would you want someone to show you love? Would you want someone to help you out? And that's pretty much all we're trying to do: spread love and positivity and into this whole thing. So if anyone can help us with that, we feel like it's a blessing. So, we're waiting for everyone to show up. We're going to have a good time. The food is going to be good, and it's going to be an ambiance. So, and even if you come, you're not really interested in, doing anything further than participating for that specific event, there's going to be plenty of people there you can network with. Maybe you can grow your network and, get involved in other areas if you feel like it. But we would love to have everyone there. Sure.
Razul, just if you can message Newsy on Facebook. He just wants to know the packages and how much he needs to give. If you could just tell him that, what you're looking for. And then I also messaged Greg Vic Domino. He's interested as well. And then for donations, is there a site that people can donate to, or is it just mailing you a check?
There is. We actually have a link tree.
That's what the link tree is. Okay.
All right. There's a link for the donations in the link tree.
So the link tree is the donations. It's not the tickets.
It might actually have both.
Okay.
So
you guys were confusing me with that. So the link tree is where people can donate as well.
The link tree has a number of different links within it, and inside, once you click on the link tree, specifically whether it's to buy tickets for the Eventbrite, donations or maybe
Then what you can do is just message Matt the link tree, and then he can donate that way. And then I'll message Sean and Greg Vicdomino so they can donate that way. So Bev's, I love Bev, but she's 80 years old and she sends a check. So I can't do anything about that.
Bev. Thank you very much.
She's gonna send another check. She's gonna send another check to you. And I'll keep, and Tommy Collins, Tommy will donate as well. So I'll make sure.
Is TC coming to the fundraiser?
I don't think he'll be able to come. I'll try to get him to come, but because it's Easter, I don't think he's going anywhere. But
okay,
with all the other guys coming, he may come. I'll talk with him, but just make sure, text me the link tree for the donations, and that way I can pass it out to the proper people, and we'll go from there. But again, it's April 19th, 6 p.m. the Swift Factory. It's going to be the time of your life. It's for a great cause, the House of Changes. We are going to make a difference in people's lives. We're going to help them. It's going to be very exciting. I'm going. I'm the keynote speaker. If there's any reason to go, it's just because you want to hear me. I will leave you entertained. That's all that matters. That's all that counts. So we'll get on that, and we will keep working towards April 19th. That is the date. Put it on your calendar, buy your tickets, and get ready to go. So this has been Inspire Changes, Inspire Synergy.
Yes.
Keep screwing that. God damn you, Jah, with the name. Inspire Synergy. And Razul Wallace. I am Steve Cully. Razul Wallace is of the House of Changes. We had the legendary Chef Cisco, and we had Jah as well. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at life.